Yes, I have sustained some damage as a result of following the 30-day hair detox for the past 3 years. I have a lot of thoughts, things I want to get out. So I have them on notes so I can stay on track. I've tried to record this. This is the fourth time I'm trying to record this. So hopefully I can get everything out. I have a lot of anxiety about this topic just because when I showed my split end a little over a year ago, I got a lot of backlash. At least that's how it was coming. Like from my viewpoint, it was a lot of backlash. I was mentioned in some other people's videos. I felt like I was being attacked as well by some of the followers of those people that had put out the videos. It was a lot for me. I went through a lot of anxiety that went on for months after that. I was having physical symptoms. I would get very anxious anytime this topic of split ends, curly cuts would come up. I would not, I felt like it was a Pandora's box. It was a topic not to be discussed by me. I would start having like palpitations. I'd feel very anxious, start having insomnia. I would kind of just be in my head a lot. Then I started getting worried about losing my job. If any of this negative information about me came out that wasn't true, I've stayed away from this topic until very recently. My goal was to stay out of the drama at all costs, not talk about it. I didn't want this type of highlight and on me, so I stayed away from it until when Elaine did her video about 6 days ago or a week ago is when I decided I have to address this issue. I started doing the detox 3 years ago. I was looking for a simple way to care for my hair. I was a busy mom, 3 kids, worked full time, and I felt like I was spending way too much time on my hair. And in researching, I came across Black Girl Curls through other people that were content creators on YouTube. And I thought what they had to say, I didn't mind it because it was very simple. It was simple hair care. I got a lot out of it, but the main thing I got out of it that really why I kept staying in it was just the simplicity of it all. How the fact that I didn't have to spend so long on my wash days also helped me change my mindset about how I viewed my hair and to have a newfound love for my tight curls, coils. I also started having better relationship with my kids' hair. I was less frustrated. I didn't know too much about the different type of shampoos, so I have to say I did learn it there. I learned how to shampoo like in a faster way, how to detangle in a faster way, more efficient way. So and then lastly, like I never thought my hair could do a wash and go. Like I'd seen all these other girls doing wash and goes. I thought it was more for people that had like at the time I was like, well, it's probably for people that have like silkier textures, people that have straighter hair than me, like looser bouncy curls. I'm like, those are the people that do the wash and go. If I try and do the wash and go, it will be more of a wash and stay for a long time. So I stayed in it, but I kept doing the detox. I kept, because even though it says 30-day hair detox, and you might hear me say 30-day hair detox, no oil, no butter, but it's all the same. Oh, I'm talking about the same thing, right? So I cut out oils altogether. Previously I was using shea butter, but and I was also using like a light oil like before, so I cut that out. I stopped deep conditioning because they said deep conditioning was a treatment, right? And really the way I heard it was like you need to focus on if you're going to do a deep conditioner, you have to check with your stylist. That's really how I heard the message. I also heard the message as like don't use a leave-in in your wash and goes because the leave-in is a no hold to little hold styler, and it would make your wash and goes not last very long. They did talk about using a leave-in for like twists. I'm gonna focus on twists because that's what I tend to do if I don't do a wash and go. Is like I'll do a flat twist or a twist out. So they did mention that I use a leave-in first, then use your foam or whatever you want to do. So those are some of the few things that I got out of it. And I was in See Some Curls for initially I went in there 3 months, then I left for like a year until they had a sale. Then I was back in it till like the Black Friday ish time. That's when I got out of it. Anyway, things were going fine. I had built a small community on YouTube and on Instagram because once I found out about this method, my thought was like, oh my goodness, like this is great. Like this needs to be shared with other people. I never considered myself like the typical content creator. I always felt like I was more of a consumer trying to give other consumers like an unbiased perspective of another consumer. So I went hard, like talking about black girl codes. You would think I was on the payroll, but I wasn't on the payroll. I just really believed in this method and this lifestyle that I was like, there are people out there that probably could benefit from this, but they may not have the funds. Excuse me, they may not have the money to go into see some curls, because I mean it's not cheap. It's a couple of $100s to be in see some curls. So that's how I started sharing it on YouTube and on Instagram, and then I would like repurpose stuff on TikTok and stuff like that. I'll be honest, I was scared of oils. I thought oils were the devil. I'm exaggerating, but I really thought oils were bad. I thought like if I used oils, like my hair would like fall out or something. I remember I using it when I had braids, because Innocent sent me like oils, and I was like, it's been so long since I used it. Like, let me try it. But even while I was trying it, I was like very nervous. And then I also remember like reaching out to a hair company, because I was trying to like work with them. But me reaching out to them, I talked more about wash and goes and gels. So I thought they were going to send me gels. So we did this whole back and forth, like trying to figure out like compensation and things like that. And yeah, they were going to pay me $500. But then I found out that they sent me an oil. That was it. They sent me an oil, and I started freaking out, because I was like, I don't really use oils, and I don't want to put it out there and stuff like that. So I ended up just rescinding, like canceling the agreement, saying I can't do it. I can't work with you guys. So yeah, I'll put a screenshot so you guys can read my email. Oh my gosh. Now I look back and I'm like, oh my goodness. Like I really was scared of oils. Okay, fast forward. Things were going good. I was sharing lives. I was doing videos here and there. I wasn't very consistent about sharing like my journey. And then about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years, between that time frame, Rosie and Shelly started talking about, the damages they had sustained from doing the wash and go. And that really piqued my interest, because we were all like using similar products, somewhat similar products. So when they came out with that, I started questioning, like, could it be the method? But I just couldn't bring myself to believe in that, because I had spent so much time. I can't tell you the amount of time I spent trying to figure out water to product ratio and trying to figure out how to do these wash and goes. And on top of that, the money I had spent on products. Yes, some companies send me products, but I have spent quite a bit of money on products, spent quite a bit of money on training, like being in See Some Curls, doing these webinars, doing one-on-ones. Like even while in See Some Curls, I did one-on-one. And so, going to the stylist. And let me tell you, before See Some Curls, I wasn't very consistent going to stylists. Like I saw going to a stylist as like a treat to myself, but I like was fully committed to the process. So I was going to the stylist and I was enjoying it too. It was like getting pampered and things like that. But that was like thousands. Like if I have to put together all the money I've spent learning the process and also the time, and I did travel 2 times to see a stylist. I really enjoy Elaine. I really like Elaine. I wouldn't travel for everybody. Like she's the only one I travel for. But even traveling, like if you had asked me 5 years ago, I would have been like, what? Like you're crazy. Why are you you're traveling? Get on a plane, going to get your haircut and coming back the same day. Like, so I spent like, I would say over $3,000, maybe even more in this whole thing. So I just couldn't bring myself to it. But I was listening to what Rosie and Shelly was saying, and I also know like Narada, African Hair God, he'd been talking about some of the whole, I would say, holes, gaps in the 30-day hair detox, like way before I even joined See Some Curls. I think he's been talking about it for a while. But I really started paying more attention when Rosie and Shelly started talking about it. So I started wondering, am I suffering from damage? Like, because I was having webbing when I would use Uncle Funky's, and my wash and go, the ends always looked a bit thin. I also noticed like my crown was tender. It was tender, more tender than I had noticed it had been before See Some Curls. And there were a few times where I even had like scabs in my hair. Like I've never talked about it, but I did have scabs. Like, oh no, is it allergic reaction to something? But it wasn't consistent, right? So, and then the texture here was a little bit different. But I also heard in See Some Curls, like once you do the detox and as you keep doing it, like you'll notice that you start like, what's the word? I'm misquoting, but you start seeing the true nature of your hair and how your hair is like stripped away from the buildup and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, maybe that's what it is. Now that I'm doing wash and goes, maybe now that's my, those are my properties, looser in the crown and tighter, at the nape and all that. But I also started noticing like the front was loose. Like in the front, I would have like really looser pieces. But yeah, but I also know like you can, in one head of hair, there could be different textures. I was seeing all that, but I still wasn't like, it wasn't yet like, they were more like red flags. I talked to Rosie in the background. Like I would message her and ask her like, how's your hair doing? Like, I don't know. Like I know I talked to her. I was like multiple times. I'm like, I don't know. Like, is this really happening to me? Could these stylists have like known this and not told us about it and all that stuff? And then I went on one of Shelly's lives where I was so frustrated because as she kept talking about it, I'm like, wait a second, maybe I'm being bamboozled. Maybe this is really happening to me, and I'm just not wanting to see the light, the truth. And I bought K18, I bought Olaplex, and a deep conditioner all in the same day. I think a Sephora or some other place. And I started using it, but I started feeling like guilty, like almost like I was cheating on my stylist because I hadn't talked about to Elaine about it. I hadn't talked to my stylist, so I talked to her about it, and she said, you know, go ahead, try and blow out your hair and see, blow out your hair and see. I felt hurt. I never felt like I was being dismissed. I didn't tell her that I had bought K18 and Olaplex. I'll be honest, because I felt so embarrassed that I had done that without telling her. And that's the thing, like I shouldn't have felt that way, but that's how I felt at the time. I returned Olaplex and K18. I used it a couple of times. I really didn't see much change in my hair because I didn't know what to look for. But I blowed dry my hair. My hair was fine. I was so happy. And to me, that was confirmation that I had no issues. But when I say my hair was fine, I don't know what I was looking for except that it was full and even, right? Did I really go in and really look at it for split ends? No, I kind of looked at it in the mirror from a general point of view, and I was like, oh, my hair is fine. I don't have any issues. I even did a live where I was telling people, oh my gosh, I was freaking out and I blow dry my hair. Look at my hair is fine. Basically, in the live, I was trying to tell people, like, don't do what I did, where I freaked out and I went to buy all this product. Go talk to your stylist. So then I went to Africa. I got braids. They were cheap there back home. And then when I took out the braids, I had them for only for a month. And mind you, in the past, like way back, I would keep braids for like 3 months and stuff. So I only had it for a month. And I took it out and I was at work typing away, and I did something like touch my hair, and like 2 strands of hair fell off. And one of them was split in. It was split like really bad splits. Like I'm not gonna lie, it was jacked up. It had keyholes. It was really bad. And so in the moment, I was like, there was a moment where I was like, oh my goodness. And then I was like, no, don't freak out, because I'm the type of person, like when there's a problem, I try and see like, is this something I'm doing that's causing this? So I'm like, okay, don't freak out, don't start blaming black girl code, don't start blaming the stylist. Is there anything you've done that could have caused this, right? So I started processing. Well, it's been a bit hard to rake, so I could have been rough with my hair. I got the braids, maybe it's the braids, but I tried to find every possible reason, but the fact that it could be the method I'm doing, because like I said earlier, a lot of time, a lot of money invested in it. How could I like done something that kept damaging my hair over and over? So I was like, no, it's probably something else. So I put a video showing the split end, and I was trying to encourage people not to freak out, to go talk to their stylist if they see something like that. I remember when I put that video out, shortly, just like minutes after, I had some girlfriends that contacted me and said, are you sure you want to start this? Because you're gonna get flooded with folks. Like, and I was like, no, it's not gonna be that bad, it'll be fine. Boy, was I wrong. When I put that split end, it put a spotlight on me where people started like commenting, people that had never really commented on my videos. I'm like, where did all these people come from? And I was very respectful. To them. But unfortunately, the spotlight was already on me. And after that, there were videos made where I was mentioned, not in a positive light. At least to me, it wasn't in a positive light. Some of the videos that some of the comments even like were attacking my character. Like it wasn't even about the hair anymore. It was like, it was pretty much saying like that I'm an evil person, I'm a bad person. And I curled back in. I saw some of these comments, I saw some of the videos that were made about me, and I was like, wow, this is bad. I started worrying about my job, that I would lose my job if my boss saw it. Like that's how the anxiety that I'm talking about, it makes you see things like bigger than they really are. So I got really anxious. I started having these physical symptoms that I talked about, the palpitation, the GI symptoms, the insomnia. Just kind of, I would just lose myself in my thoughts, and it wasn't good. So I feel like I'm a very like even keel person. So like I'm fine with people like approaching me and giving their point of view, but when it becomes like it's very clear that somebody's trying to be nasty and cause trouble and like be messy and stuff like that, I got to a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna block people. Like I'll hear people out, but if I feel like their heart is not in the right place and they're trying to start something, I'm just gonna block them. It was just a messy time. Let's say put it that way. It was messy time. Tensions were high, emotions were high. Late 2023 is when I posted this strand of hair, and then 2024 I was like, I'm gonna mind my business. I don't want to be part of all this, because how I felt is that I was collateral damage in somebody else's war. That's kind of how it was coming across to me. Like, you know what? There's a group that's trying to get to black girl codes, and they can't get to black girl codes, so they're gonna try and attack everybody else that is associated in any type of way, including customers. That's how I saw it back then. Let me tell you something. When all this drama was unraveling and I was being attacked and stuff, um, I wasn't. There were, I can name like just a handful of people that I saw in the comments trying to comment section trying to come to my defense. But unless things were deleted by the people that posted these videos, um, the way I saw it is, I'm on my own. Nobody's coming to save me. Like people eat drama up. They'll eat that stuff up. Like they'll grab their popcorn, their tea or their wine or whatever, and just gulp, like eat the drama up. So like like people are not. I'm like, nobody's coming to save me. Like nobody's coming to my defense. Not Black Girl Codes. Not yeah, not anybody. Not stylists. Like people just, because nobody wanted to be involved in the drama. Like most people, I think, don't want to be associated with that kind of stuff. So I was on my own. I was on my own, and it was such a hard time for me. Like I said, such a hard time. So, anyways, enough about that. So throughout the year, right, throughout last year, a seed had been planted. Even though I was in my feelings about how things went about, Rosie and Shelly planted the seed, in my heart, in my mind, that there might be something wrong with this whole lifestyle method. But because of the backlash I received, I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna entertain talking about this at all. So I just listened from afar. I decided to become a silent observer of all of this. But a seed had been planted by Rosie and Shelly. By them coming out, there was a seed planted in my heart and in my mind. Okay, so I would occasionally, after my washes, when my strands of hair, my shed hair would fall out, I would look at them. And anytime I looked at them, I would see split ends. Okay, but I almost became like nervous to look at them, and it was a bit confusing to me because I'm seeing split ends, but I've gone to see the stylist, like the local one close to my house, to I blow dry my hair there, and she's done deep conditioning and blow dry and cut, and she every time I asked her specifically, how's my hair doing? Do I have any split ends? And she was pretty much like, no, your hair is fine. So I was like, well, I'm seeing split ends every time I look at it, but she said my hair is fine. So then I started convincing myself that, well, maybe everybody has split ends, like occasional split ends here and there, right? But honestly, deep down, I knew there was something wrong. Like I said, I just could not go through what I had gone through again. Even though I'm on social media and I share my journey as a content creator, I do believe it doesn't mean that it gives people the opportunity to like just be mean and nasty. Even though people do that, I don't think it's right for people to be just mean and nasty to each other. I think it's fine to share your opinion, to say what you think, but it can be done in a respectful way. To me, how you deliver a message, like, is so important. Throughout like last year, I started noticing that Black Girl Codes they were making small changes, right? They were small changes, which there's no big deal for a company to pivot and to change, right? But I think where I had a bit of concern and it was a bit like confusing to me is that why are these changes being made without acknowledging the source of the change? Like the source of the change to me was very clear, that it was Rosie and Shelly that started, I would say, a movement, you would say. Like they started something where they were brave enough to speak up about what was going on with their hair, and they had to figure out on their own, with the help of African Hair God, they had to figure out how to fix these changes that were happening to their hair. Unfortunately, both of them had to cut a lot of hair, but as they were figuring out, and it's not easy, it's like you're not a stylist and you have to figure out, like, why is your hair splitting? Why is your hair looking the color different, the texture different, and all that stuff. So yes, throughout that year, there were different information coming out, because as they were figuring it out, they were getting the information out. So to somebody else, it could look like, like you don't even know like what the real problem is, because today you say it's this, tomorrow you say it's that. There were different iterations that occurred until finally they figured out, okay, these are all the puzzle pieces to this problem. But with Black Girl Codes, it's like they're implementing these changes, and some of them, I have to say, they look to me like they were trying to implement changes that will essentially, I don't even know how to word it, because I want to be very respectful. So the changes that were made were good changes that would hopefully help people not damage their hair. But those changes would not have occurred if it wasn't for Shelly and Rosie speaking up, right? And Narada talking about these, some of the gaps in the method. So I think it would have been good for Black Girl Codes to just lay all that out and say, okay, we understand the method needs some tweaking. I don't think the method should be thrown away. I don't think the baby should be thrown away with the bathwater. Like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of great things about this method, but it's very clear it's not a one size fits all. It shouldn't be so simplified and the same for everybody. Everybody needs different things at different times. But I started seeing different stylists talk about it. Cassidy Marie came out and she's pivoting and she made some really good points that like made so much sense to me that not everybody needs to start off with the detox. And some of these cleansers were just way too strong and we kept using it month after month after month. And some of us do need a buttercream or leave-in or moisturizer with our wash and goes, with our stylers. And there needs to be less focus on longevity of the wash and go and more on the health of the hair. So she made some really good points. And then also One Royal Treatment, she started making YouTube videos and I really started paying attention to those videos where she was talking about curly cuts, split ends, the different type of shampoos. Like she was diving in really like more into these issues that a lot of us were like having questions about, but we didn't want to speak up about it. One Royal Treatment, Aubrey, she did a live where she was doing a consultation. She was doing a consultation with a content creator slash customer that follows the no oil, no butter, black girl curls, that method, right? And this person's hair was really in bad shape. And again, like I said, the seed had been planted. I had been watching like Rosie and Shelly's video on YouTube and even Narada's videos on YouTube. I just was like a silent observer. I was like, okay, there might be something here, but I'm not gonna speak up about it. Like I've had enough backlash about it. They're going on more of Aubrey's lives. And one of the lives she was talking about the shampoos and I mentioned one of the common all-purpose shampoo that is talked about in Black Girl Codes, the AG Balance. And I made a comment that, well, I've switched to AG Co Fresh like a year into starting the wash and go. And she made a comment that had me like, a bit puzzled where she was like, yeah, I don't know about that one shampoo. So then I felt that I needed to dig a little deeper. But I respect the stylist time. So instead of just inundating her in the comment section of her live with questions, I reached out to her for one-on-one, a paid one-on-one. I did a one-on-one. It lasted like, I think almost 2 hours where I went in depth about my routine and what I've been doing, what I've been using. And basically, Aubrey was like, you need to change pretty much everything. She said, I wouldn't be surprised if your hair is compromised quite a bit, which I deep down, I knew that. I just didn't want to admit it. Okay. So I made the changes and not to start talking about specific products, but I'll tell you this. Now I deep condition twice a month. Also, leave-ins, like no wash and goes without a leave-in. Reducing the number of wash and goes I do, especially in the winter months. So she was like, if you can even do one wash and go a month, which I was like, I like love wash and goes, but I was like, I have to follow through. So I did like last month because I met with Aubrey in November, sometime in November. And so the month of December, I wore a wash and go once, and then I did the twist. So it's doable. It's a change, but it's a change for me, but I am adjusting. She also talked to me about like doing other styles that are more protective. Like I am good at flat twisting, and individual twist. So she's like, gave me some ideas of what to do, and we talked about re-implementing oils, like light oils. So those are some of the changes that I've done. But I wasn't quite ready to come out and talk to people about it, just because I was still so scared. Like that anxiety was just right there creeping on me. Fast forward, December, Elaine put out this video like a week ago. Yeah, she put out a video where she was talking about the method and how the changes that need to occur in the method. And also she touched on another thing that occurred between her and an ex-customer as well. So it gave me the courage that I needed to talk about the changes that had gone on with my hair and the changes I was implementing. I think silence sometimes is needed, but silence can also mean complicity. And sometimes there's a moral obligation to speak up, right? So I'm so used to being like neutral about everything. Like I'm kind of a glass half full person. I like to be Switzerland, like not take sides. So that's my safe space. That's where I wanted to be. But I knew that I had to come out. But I was also like terrified to come out. Okay. So the last couple of days, I started like after the video, I started thinking and praying about it. How do I go about this? And this Bible verse from Matthew 5, verse 23 to 24 came to me. I knew that I needed to reach out to 3 people, Rosie, Shelly, and Narada. I just didn't know how to do it. Because there were things on my heart that I needed to and on my chest, I just needed to get off. Things that, like I said, this anxiety and just the way I felt hurt that I needed to get out to them, that I didn't want to air out on in public. I felt like I needed to go directly to the people that I felt this issue like needed to occur between. So I was sweating bullets. My heart was beating so fast. But I messaged them. I did a group message. They reached back. They all reached out to me, and I had a phone conversation with each one of them individually, where I laid out some of my frustration. I laid out like the reason why I moved the way I moved, and the stress and anxiety that I had been dealing with. And it was a very good conversation. It was a very good conversation. It was very healing for me. I can't speak for them, but it was very healing for me. I felt like finally like a weight had been lifted off my shoulder, and I could move on and make this video. What I'll say is this, like, I have a better understanding and empathy for what Rosie and Shelly went through. They really wanted to be heard, and they didn't feel heard. And people react to that differently. Yes, it got messy. It got messy, but I also think like, I don't know if these changes that we're seeing now that are being implemented in the open, and how people, stylists and some consumers are pivoting, if all that would have happened if there weren't people that were that vocal about it. But for me, I'll say this. For me, and I'm sure for some people out there, it's all about delivery and how the message is presented to you. So like I can say that with like Narada, he had the right message, but he wasn't the right messenger for me, right? Because he has a very colorful way of saying things, and it was hard for me to look past that. But and when I talked to him, I did talk about that, and he was very kind. He was very respectful, and he came with an open mind, and I really appreciated that, and I thanked him for that. And also, yeah, like they were all very open. They were all very understanding, and they really just wanted to be heard. Like I said, the way it all happened, I moved differently. But I already addressed that. So what next for me? What next for me is I'm gonna implement. I'll keep implementing what One Royal Treatment, Aubrey, what she's prescribed to me. As you can see, I'm in flat twist right now because each month my goal is to, either do no wash and go at all, or maybe one wash and go. I don't know. I'm really considering like getting a silk press to really see, like, because I went to one stylist 2 times. She said your hair is fine, and there's another stylist I found really close to my house, even closer, that I have an appointment next month with, because it'll be time for me to like get a cut or whatnot. And I'm thinking like about just doing a silk press and really seeing, getting another opinion, like from another stylist, like what's going on. And then the other thing that I felt really strong about after I watched Elaine's video is that I don't want to lead people to the wrong place. I don't want to give the wrong information. Even because when I come on social media, when I come on YouTube, usually I'm looking for answers to a problem, and I'm looking to be entertained. Usually those are the two things. So I fear people will see some of my old videos, and they not everybody has the means to meet up with a stylist or partner with a stylist or be in some type of small group, like see some girls or whatnot, to get like the most recent updates. So I fear that people will look at my videos and just implement everything I did in those videos word for word for word. And even though I could like leave a comment and pin it, like some people might not look at that, and I fear I might lead people the wrong way. So I have, in the last couple of days, I've removed a lot of my videos. They're more they're private now, because and there may be more that I see along the way, and I will remove them if I feel like they're leading people the wrong way. Everybody deals with this differently, but for me, right now, I feel like that's the right thing to do. So if you go on my YouTube page, you'll see that a lot of things are archived or private. You can't watch them. It's mainly because I fear that people will implement that. They'll look at my hair and they'll be like, oh, okay, so basically I don't use oils, I don't use leave-ins, and I don't deep condition, so I'm gonna do those things, and I just do washing. So yeah, hopefully you get the point. And if you're doing wash and goes and that's what you do all the time, this video is not to bash anybody. It's not to tell people that are doing wash and goes that they're doing the wrong thing, right? Like I said, we don't need to throw the baby with the bathwater. It's just like the things that needed to be changed, and clearly Black girls, they're making these changes. So as I end this video, I just have one ask, that you would watch this video with an open mind, and that you would offer me grace. Please be kind in the comments, because it's not easy to come on and record a video where I'm sharing where I have fallen short, and talk about topics that are so controversial and are polarizing. At least it's not easy for me. So just be kind, because you just don't know what people are going through, like behind the scene. Like I shared with you guys how much just having a little bit of this drama impacted me, and how I've been carrying this weight And so please be kind. And till next time, yeah, bye.